Lions rue a wasteful first half as the Sharks take a bonus point win. My name's Mark, let's talk rugby. So as all the Lions in the first 20 minutes of this one, they're playing the games in the Sharks half, they're winning penalties, they're making easy ground. Sharks look, really in trouble. They're conceding penalties. We have Chituka. He gets held up over the line after some good work from Van der Merwe. Lions came so close to scoring a try there. Lombard then also, in that first kind of 20 minutes or so, he misses 3 very kickable penalties. Talking about, straight in front, not that far out, maybe about 30 meters or so. 3 times, they entrust him to go for the post. 3 times the guy misses. And, they should have built a bit of a lead. Instead, they're finding it, hard to actually put any points on the board at this stage. Then, kind of early in the game as well, James Ventnor from the Sharks, he takes a knock to the head, kind of splits his head open. There's kind of blood there, and doctor has to come on maybe 3 times, I think, to treat him, change his bandages and stuff, because there's just blood all over the place. The ref actually speaks to the doctor just before halftime, telling him he's worried about the player. It looks like they gave him some stitches at halftime because he was fine in the second half. But then, Bosch, from almost the Sharks' first real attacking position, he opens the scoring, spots a gap between a couple of front rowers, and goes through and just has a canter in under the post. Converts his own try. It's 7-0 to the Sharks against the run of play. Lions then come back on an attack. They are close to the line through Emmanuel Chituka. Then his brother Vincent, who's playing for the Sharks, gets pinned at the breakdown. He gets a yellow card. Lions, finally the good play gets rewarded. Van der Merwe puts Lowe through a hole, and he shows good pace and strength. He gets over to score. Lombard converts. It's literally dead in front, so even he couldn't miss it. So we're all square at 7-7. Sharks then get free kicked shortly after the restart for having a huddle just before the lineout. They were doing it, all through the half, and they'd been warned by the referee previous to that. He then tells them that the next one was going to be a penalty. Sharks, so they win a penalty just before half time. Bosch decides to kick to the corner. They claim the line out to set them all, but Lions are able to kind of shove them over the sideline and out. So we're 7-7 at half time. Sharks at this stage should be much happier with the 2 with the scoreline. Lions should be well ahead. If not for Lombard's boot, really, they should be. It was 9 points that they should have had, so they should have had a bit of a cushion going in there at halftime. Into second half, then Hanko Venter pinged at them all for pulling a player out by his neck. Pretty much right in the first couple of minutes of the second half. The Lions go up the line for the penalty. It's not a great kick. They end up kind of at the edge of the 22 instead of it should be really, kind of in that 5 to 10 meters out. And kicking either from the tee or from hand really was an issue for the Lions in this game. Alberts, though, he claims a line out. They set up the maul. It's making good progress. The backs come and join in. They make it up to about 5 meters. But then Boutalese manages to work his way through the middle of the maul. He stacks the ball carrier. Turnover to the Sharks. They're able to clear. But Lions do keep up the pressure. Who was it? Intla Bakanye, I think the guy's name is, puts a monster hit in on James Ventnor. Very close, Sharks at the ball close to the line. He smashes Ventnor, but they do manage to hold on to the ball and they manage to clear. And then shortly after that, Bosch produces a real peach of a 50-22, gets the Sharks into a good position close to the line. Then Vincent Chituka, who's back on after his yellow card, he claims the line out. Juice goes close, and then they set up the ruck, spread out wide, a nice pass out to Abrams. He goes over in the corner. Bosch converts that one. Sharks are back in front, 14-7. Again, kind of a bit against the run of play. Like the Lions had most of the territory and possession up till then. Van Resenberg, then he gets pinged at the breakdown around about halfway. Sharks go for goal, but they miss then. But now, Sharks are starting to get on top, and they're on attack again into 22. Smith is on his knees competing at a ruck. He gets pinged, and it's right in front. Bosch pops the penalty over, 17-7. Lions, they try to respond. They have some decent possession and a bit of go forward. Richardson and Chituka, though, for Sharks, they manage to get over the ball. They win a penalty. Again, they're able to clear. Sharks now, they're applying pressure on attack. Lowe gets pinged for a high hit. We have a bit of a TMO review. It's only a penalty because basically the initial hit is on the chest and then it slips up to the head. Sharks decide to go for the corner. They set up the maul, and then Mbata, he goes over to score. The on-field decision, first of all, though, is no try. TMO review. Straight away, we see the replay. We can see he's grounded on the line. It's all, above board. Conversion is missed, though. We're at 22-7, and, it's beginning to slip out of reach of the Lions at this stage. The Lions do try to work their way back upfield with ball in hand, where errors are making it difficult for them. Knock-ons and stuff like that, and poor passes. Sharks then are trying to pin them in their own half. They go to the corner again from penalty. They go through the faces about 10 meters out. Bosch puts a nice little grubber through in under the post. Grant Williams, really great pace from him to get there and score the bonus point try. Bosch converts. We're at 29-7. There's no way back from the Lions now. Lions do come looking for a consolation try, but again, move breaks down as pass go forward. Basically, don't know who it was, but the guy tried to pass one of those where the ball slips out of his hand as he's trying to pass and clearly goes forward. Again, then the Lions try to break from a long punt by the Sharks, and again the ball doesn't go to hand, and they were very frustrating to watch. In the first half when they were on top, they couldn't take the chances. Second half when they're trying to create something, they were just making errors. Final score then was 29-7, and we're just going to have a quick look at some of the stats. So, tries scored, 1 for the Lions, 4 for the Sharks. Possession, 46 for the Lions, 54 for the Sharks. Sharks really took control in that second half. Clean breaks, 5 for the Lions, 2 for the Sharks. Those clean breaks in the first half for the Lions really could have put them in a decent position. Defenders beaten, 14 each. Offloads, 8 for the Lions, 5 for the Sharks. Again, the Lions, they're producing the clean breaks, the offloads, but they can't actually do anything with it. Now let's look at the defensive stats. So territory, 48% for the Lions, 52 for the Sharks. Number of tackles, 98-96, pretty even. And it's because the game was pretty even in terms of where the game was being played and who was on top at certain stages and that kind of thing. Missed tackles, 14 each as well. It's just that the Sharks were just so much more clinical than the Lions in the game. Tackle success, 88% for the Lions, 87% for the Sharks. So pretty, okay. You'd expect a really good performance would be up there about 90 or just above. So 88, 87 is pretty passable. Turnovers, 1 for the Lions, 6 for the Sharks. So the Sharks in that second half especially were able to turn over Lions ball and just kind of keep them pinned in their own half for most of that half. Then in terms of kicking, so 25% kicking success for the Lions, and that so it was 1 from 4, and the only one they got was that kick to convert from right in front. That if somebody misses that, they're going on one of those compilation videos of terrible kicks or whatever on YouTube. For the Sharks, 67 pretty good, especially ones that were missed were fairly difficult. Then penalties conceded, 10 for the Lions, 12 for the Sharks. So again, it wasn't like the Lions weren't getting opportunities from those penalties, either to kick a goal or to kick to the corner. They just couldn't take them. So Sharks, they really did boss the second half. In the end, they deserved the bonus point win, but it could have been a lot different for them. So they'll be very happy with that. Lions really should have built a lead in that first half, and then second half handling errors denied them any kind of way back into the game.